Is it worth spending twice as much money to get the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus over the OnePlus 3T? In this video, I'm going to help you answer that question. So let's go to power both phones on. Now the Galaxy S8 Plus is brand new, while the OnePlus 3T around 6 months old at this point. So obviously should be an advantage here for the Galaxy. And as I mentioned, the Galaxy also costs twice as much money. Has a Snapdragon 835 and 4GB of RAM. Now the OnePlus 3T actually does have an advantage in terms of RAM, as 6 and the Snapdragon 821. Alright guys, so Galaxy, pretty easy win the boot up test there. So quick look at the design of the phones. So front facing camera on a 3T actually more megapixels, 16 versus 8. Although on the Galaxy you do have a much better design here on the front. So beautiful screen, 6.2 inches versus 5.5. Also high resolution on the Galaxy. You're getting a Quad HD screen versus a 1080p. Now at the OnePlus 3T you do have this physical home button right here, which also doubles as a fingerprint scanner. Whereas on the Galaxy, so you do have a home button here with 3D touch. However, the fingerprint scanner is here on the back. So look at the bottom of the phones. You got USB-C on both. Look at the side. Look at the top. And the other side. So both phones do have headphone jacks, and look at the back. So metal on the back of the OnePlus and glass on the back of the Galaxy. And then rear facing camera on the OnePlus, 16 megapixels and 12 on the Galaxy. So overall guys, in terms of design, I do prefer the Galaxy. However, I will say that the OnePlus 3T is definitely better with the fingerprint scanner, which I'll show you later in the video. Alright guys, you see everything closed out on both phones. So let's start with Temple Run 2. Now obviously guys, the Galaxy should win the big majority of this. However, it's also a value type thing. It's worth spending twice as much for the Galaxy. And you see for Temple Run 2, just a couple second advantage here for the Galaxy. Alright, so next up we got NBC News. Alright, so looks like, alright, both are refreshing, give it a second. Yeah, this app has been extremely slow tonight, but I do like doing it because it's a bit of a challenge. Alright, so this one going to Galaxy. And now you see OnePlus up as well. Alright, so next up we got iFunny. And advantage here for the OnePlus. So surprising result there at OnePlus. However, not too surprising as OnePlus is extremely fast phone. Wow, that was very, very close. I think just about a tie. Alright, calculator on clock. Alright, eBay next. Well, another one for OnePlus. So OnePlus doing pretty well. Alright, let's do Asphalt 8. So another game, this one should go to Galaxy. Yeah, so Galaxy by just a couple seconds. Photos. Alright, so another one for OnePlus. ESPN. Alright, wow, so another one here for OnePlus. OnePlus doing pretty well. And let's do settings and move on to our stuff. Alright, so here is the Intuitive benchmark. So you guys see here, actually scores are not that far off. So 162,000 for the OnePlus, 168,000 for the Galaxy. And the Galaxy is the highest score on Android. I think the OnePlus is actually second highest. Next up, let's do Chrome. Alright everyone, let's go into a few sites. Let's do Nintendo.com first. Alright, so slight advantage here for the Galaxy. Let's do PlayStation next. Alright, PlayStation.com. And this one going to OnePlus. Let's do Xbox. Alright, so looks like slight advantage here for Samsung. And one last one was for Yahoo. Alright guys, so I think web browsing pretty split. Next up, let's do fingerprint scanner. So again, on the back for the Galaxy, but here is some tests out speed. And I can really tell you OnePlus is going to be much faster. So you guys, no contest at all here. Easy win there for OnePlus. Next up, let's test out the camera speed and bring Cactus back in. Alright, snap some pictures. Alright, so Galaxy a little bit faster for pictures. Alright guys, so far extremely close tests. I think it's neck and neck, which that in itself I will say is a win for the OnePlus. And last, let's do multitasking. And before that, let's round off the specs. So 5.5 inch screen on OnePlus, 1080p screen, Galaxy 6.2 inches Quad HD screen. Now for OnePlus, both cameras are 16 megapixels, for the Galaxy front facing 8, rear facing 12. So I think I prefer the rear facing camera to Galaxy. However, I will have comparison on my channel later on. And internal storage, both these phones 64 gigabytes. On OnePlus, you also have an option for 128. And no micro SD card support for the OnePlus, but you do have micro SD card support for the Galaxy. Pretty large batteries on both, so OnePlus 3400, 3500 on the Galaxy. On OnePlus, Snapdragon 821, 6GB of RAM. For the Galaxy, Snapdragon 35 and 4, both USB-C. And the Galaxy is waterproof, the OnePlus is not. Alright guys, so let's do some multitasking. Tan pronto. Alright, so as you guys see here, the OnePlus is reloading, the Galaxy is not. And that's typically what I found. OnePlus, at least for me, it usually does reload this. Whereas the Galaxy, big majority of times, it's not. Alright, so next up, we'll do iFunny. Alright, so that looked like advantage there for OnePlus. NBC News. Pretty close, I think maybe a very slight edge there for the OnePlus. YouTube. Again, slight edge here for the OnePlus. So OnePlus actually doing pretty good here in multitasking aside from Temporon 2. However, it is a pretty big one. Let's do eBay next. Again, I think that was OnePlus. Let's do Asphalt 8. Alright, so slight advantage there for the Galaxy. Chrome. Alright, so another slight advantage for OnePlus. So it looks like the Galaxy doing very well with the games, or it's OnePlus doing very well for everything else. And let's do one final one. Actually, we'll do two more with the camera first. And then I want to try bringing up Temporon 2 again. I don't think that the the OnePlus should restart it, but we'll see. So yeah, as you guys see, this time it's not restarted. Alright everyone, so here's my personal opinion real quick before we get the final results. So I do prefer the Galaxy, and that's for a few reasons. One is the screen, the rear-facing camera, the Snapdragon 835, the micro SD card support, and the waterproofing. However, that said, I do think that the OnePlus is a much better value. I think you're getting much more bang for your buck for the OnePlus. Now, as I mentioned, there are some advantages to the Galaxy, things like the screen, but just keep in mind it's probably not worth spending that much extra money for most people. If you're willing to, then go for it, but otherwise I would suggest the OnePlus 3T. Now keep in mind that 3T is also around 6 months old at this point. However, I still thought it did really well during the speed tests. Again, you guys let me know in the comments which one you think won. Alright everyone, so we do have a lot more comparisons for these two phones planned, things like battery life, camera tests, and more. So don't miss that, and you can do that by clicking the top left corner to subscribe. Or if you want, you can watch another video right now by clicking bottom right. Alright everyone, thanks again for watching.